It's crazy to me that after all these years, this was the first time I actually went there. I went to the Polyglot Gathering in June, and now I went to Expolingua in Berlin. And in the end, I realized, wow, this is such a better event than I imagined. So Expolingua, if you're watching this, maybe work on your marketing because your event is greater than the feeling I got. And I think there are not many people who know about this, and this is why I'm making this video, to tell you all about it. So let's go. So Expolingua, basically it is a 2-day language event that takes place in Berlin, and that is an event for everyone to come and join and check out what is going on in the world of languages. It's actually been held for more years than I am alive, which is why I'm so kind of embarrassed that I never heard about it before. Expolingua is also a place to connect and network with other people who love languages just as much as you probably do. So let me tell you a little bit more about how the event is set up. So it's first and foremost an exposition. Okay, this is why it's called Expolingua. So it's an exposition on languages. There are 2 big exposition halls where different organizations present themselves. And you just walk around and you can talk to people and see what they're offering. This is what I imagine it to be. And in my mind, I thought, there's going to be some content creators and language resources. I'm very informed. Might not be that interesting. Well, 2 things happened. Number 1, I realized that it's not only the exposition. There were also talks, like at the Polyglot Gathering that I went to. What I liked about the talks was that they were very short. A lot of them were only 30 minutes. It was almost too short, but it was a bit better than the 1.5 hour long lectures, presentations at the Polyglot Gathering that could, drag on quite a bit. So with this one, at least you knew, even if it wasn't interesting, after 30 minutes, you could probably just call it a day. So yes, there were a lot more talks. And they also had 3 different rooms where you could go and listen to different talks. So it was amazing. You had a choice of 3 different presentations per half hour. And the event went from 10 a.m. to, I think, 7 p.m. That was really great. I was amazed at how big this event was. Then the other thing that surprised me was that I thought it was rather like a Berlin local event for younger students, teenagers who wanted to know more about language learning, and that I wouldn't necessarily be the right target group for this event. That's why I hesitated going. Well, put it this way. On the one hand side, there was some truth to it. When I arrived Friday morning at Expolingua, it was full of high school students. I was a bit confused of whether I would even be allowed to go in there. I didn't even go to the expositions at that time because there were too many people. It was so crowded. It was incredible. I had not expected that at all. I got a real overwhelm of all the amount of people, but I went to some talks and it was better, though they were also cramped. Like the rooms were full. We were standing on the side of the room or sitting on the floor. Anyway, so yes, there were a lot of high school students, but, they left Friday afternoon, and then for the rest of the exposition, there were just people like I had also met at the Polyglot Gathering. Yeah, language learners who are fascinated about languages, who work in languages, who speak various of them. I met some people I knew. So it was great. It was really a nice crowd. The third thing that surprised me was that I thought it was only for German people. The website is in English and German, but I felt like the focus was on German. There's some truth to it. Many of the talks were in German, which I found a bit of a pity. I felt like maybe that excluded other speakers of other languages. But I also realized that a lot of people were actually from Berlin, even though they were not German. So I would say it is a sort of a local event with a lot of expats who also rock up there and who want to practice their German. So I still felt it was quite international, though there weren't that many people who probably came from further away. Everyone was super surprised when they heard that I came from the other side of the country. So yeah, but I would do it again. It was totally worth it. Another thing that surprised me was, like I said before, I had thought the focus was on high school students or students of university, and they were large representations of work and travel organizations, language, school, holiday, trip organizations. They were very present, and that's what I expected. And then I also saw that there were lots of other companies that were very interesting. Just maybe to give you an idea of who actually went there. Like I said, for example, Malta had a really big representation. They had a big stand with different language schools that offered trips in the summer to a younger generation. There was a big representation of Korea as a country, so they would just introduce a bit of their culture and the language. Then there were various kind of self-publishers and publishers who publish study material. Some of that was more aimed at students in high school, and others was aimed at adults. There was also a really big delegation of the European Committee, or the EU, basically like the translation and interpreting section, who were informing about how to work for the EU as a translator or interpreter, and there were many talks about that. There was a university from Saarland who introduced their translation study streams, the bachelor and master, and they were explaining how they're adapting in the world of AI and how they're adapting so that translators work together with AI rather than against it, because it's an inevitable change in this profession. I really liked the way they presented, even though I'm not planning on studying translation. I was very curious to see what the progression is as I'm translating myself, and it's good to hear from people in the field. There was a company there who introduced an app that now has AI audio chatbots, so you can actually, speak into the app and the AI chatbot will respond to you. That was really fascinating to see how AI is being used within those apps. I also want to say, as a language teacher, I'm not concerned about those kinds of apps because they are rudimentary. They're just a nice little gimmick. They can help you, but I don't think they will ever replace a real human teacher. So for me, that was very interesting, and I'm personally inclined to try out the app to see for myself. So I would say there was a bit of everything, and that's very cool. Last point I forgot. This event is free. Can you believe it? It's free. So who do I think this event is for? Anyone who loves languages, but especially someone who is into German. Someone who wants to get more ideas on how to work with foreign languages. Someone who wants to have a look into different languages to help choosing the next one to study. Someone who wants to geek and nerd out about languages with other people and who finds it hard to find these people in their life. Someone who wants to practice foreign languages, especially German and Arabic. And someone who wants to get to know the expat scene in Berlin, as many of them will show up to this kind of event. Also someone who wants to get to know what new products are out there in the language learning market. Someone who wants to network and connect with other people in the industry. And if you're lacking a bit of motivation in terms of continuing your language journey, then this is your event to go. It's so good to get inspired by other polyglots and teachers and hear about their struggles and concerns, and you feel understood on your journey. So this is for you as well. And of course, if you want to go and explore Berlin, why not do that as well? Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, save it, like it, share it with a friend who might want to go to the next Expolingua or another language event. Subscribe to my channel if you want to get updated about the videos that I post once in a while. I post videos that I believe are important in the terms of language, community, and the travel lifestyle that sometimes comes with it. So stay tuned. Thanks.